Yo, what's popping? I'm here at the start of the East version of the series. Now it's going to be like 1-1 for a bit. So now, seventh overall seed, the Guangzhou Charge, who are 1-5 with a -11 map differential. They went 3-1 against Valiant in their very first game of the season. I do think if that game is moved down later into the stage, they probably don't even win that. But because it was Valiant's first game, there were a lot of nerves there. They end up taking it because they have a more experienced roster. And you know what? They take those. They don't ask how, they ask how many. For Charge, the answer ends up being 1 at the end, but maybe they change that. So then they get 3-0'd by Chengdu, then they get 3-0'd by Philly, then they go 3-2'd by Shanghai in a banger of a match where they get reverse swept rather. Not like they couldn't close it out, but it's against Shanghai. No one can close it out. And Shanghai looked good after they looked bad. You know, that's in standard Shanghai fashion. Um, then they get 3-0'd by Seoul, and then they get 3-0'd by Spark. So a lot of 3-0s there. But what are you gonna do? So their DPS line, Eileen choice I one develop with Eileen not coming in one time for some reason. Don't know why. I think he would be beneficial to this team if he did play. Their tank line being Rio and Krong, and their support line being Unique Farway. They did have Molly, but he had no playtime anyway. They prefer Farway over Molly. Don't know if I agree, but Molly, whatever. That's on them. He'll find playtime. Anyway, why did this team struggle so much? Well, I think Rio looks awful. I think he looks like the worst main tank in the league, bar none. Maybe he's better than False. Maybe it's hard to say, but it's not it. His jumps have been bad. He just rolls over and dies at the start of fights. I can't even say his primals have looked great. And Rio being your starting tank most often, not great. Krong's looked all right, but he's looked all right for what he's been doing. I don't really put any of this on Krong. Develop has been spotty on the Soldier. He's known more for the flick scan, so maybe he should be make an adaptation to play the Cassidy more or the Ash more or something. But his Soldier was not impressing me. His flanks felt off. His damage felt off. I don't know. I don't have the stats of the Soldier stats, but I doubt they would be great. And I don't even think Unique's played that well. His timing's been a little bit off. There's just been a little bit of disconnect there. It's not great for Unique. So I don't know. Maybe they did pick up all of Chengdu's dropped players onto their academy team and contenders now. So they have Aprita, Jimmy, Kaneki, Off, I don't know him, X-Ray, don't know him, Kyo, and Xerneas, who's Eveltal. He's changed his legendary name. So shout out to that. But I think you pick up Xerneas, that would help, I think. You pick up Aprita, that'd be good. And that's all I can really say. But if you could pick up those two players on your main roster, I think your team would just be better. So I don't really know why they're keeping those players on their academy team. I don't know, but I would just straight up have signed them because why not, right? If you're trying to make your team better, maybe they don't want to just spend that money. But at that point, you could just drop some players to pick those guys up. I don't know. I think it'd be beneficial in the long run, but I'm not the general manager, so how do they get better with this roster? Don't play Rio on Winston as much. I think he has a ball, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure he has a pretty good ball. So maybe you do a London Spitfire or do an old Chengdu Hunters 2019 or whatever it was. They just play the ball comms and teams don't understand it. Pull off something like that. Maybe you make Krong your get more playtime. Put him on the Zarya. That's an option. Play Eileen maybe. And I already talked about Develop playing not the Soldier. Soldier might not be meta next stage anyway because of the changes. But maybe I'll make a video on that at some point. That seems good. But I don't know. I would like to see some more like personalization and not just spamming what they think is meta, spamming the Winston, spamming whatever. Because if you're a team at the lower end of the standings, you're kind of scrapping your wins together. And you want to do that any way you can. And right now, it is not by spamming Winston. So moving on to what it looks like for the midseason madness. They play Spark Valiant their first week. then they play Chengdu Seoul, and then they play Philly Shanghai. I did just learn that the East are like starting a week after the West, so that's interesting. I kind of like this more. 2 games a weekend, kind of nice and easy, right? So shout out to the East for that. But that Valiant match maybe winnable. Chengdu match maybe winnable, and the Philly and Shanghai match are also maybe winnable because those two teams are highly inconsistent. But it's not winnable based on Guangzhou Charges like form. It's winnable based off of Philly and Shanghai's form and if they choose the throw or not. So I don't know. You're kind of hoping that those teams maybe falter. But other than that, I really don't see the wins coming through. I think Valiant looks stronger. I think they have a better coaching like formula. Like they're willing to try new things, and it's like they have a real identity and they are willing to experiment. Whereas we have not seen that from the Charge at all. And I think Chengdu just have better pound for pound players and better synergy. Right, Leaf and Jinmu. I guess Chosei diffs Jinmu, but Leaf is what has performed much better and developed. Their tank lines looked better. Yeah, no. Their backlines looked better. Faraway, not even they didn't want Faraway for Monk, right? So I don't know. I think Chengdu should win that one, but I don't know. Charge have to figure something out. If they just continue to play as they have, it's not great. There needs to be some sort of coaching changes here. I hate being all like down on all these teams, but that's kind of the reality. If you don't change something up, you will just fail. So that's it for me. Give this video a like if you liked it. Subscribe for more daily Overwatch content, and comment down below how you think the Guangzhou Charge are gonna improve themselves. How are they gonna do next stage? Anyway, have yourself a good one, and deuces.